best in radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
And welcome. You're listening to the Financial Survival Network. It's Kerry, Lutz, and interesting things happening with precious metals. Obviously, price has been gyrating up and down a little bit past couple of days, but don't let that take you away from the true picture, what's really happening. For that, we've got Barry Stuppler with us now of Stuppler and Company. You know him well. He's been out there selling bullion for a long, long time. Barry, welcome back. How are you?
Thank you, Kerry. It's always fun to be on your show.
As always. So, first, you got a bill passed through the United States Congress. Congratulations.
Yes. As many of your listeners know, I chair the Political Action Committee for the Gold and Silver and Rare Coin community. And last year, we drafted a bill, the Coin Protection Act. Basically, it allows the Treasury to go after people selling counterfeit coins. A lot of counterfeit coins are coming out of China and Asia, and the laws on the books weren't ample enough to allow for enforcement. And the law that was just passed, the Coin Protection Act of 2014, which passed the House in the summer and then passed the Senate in December and was signed into law in December by the president right before he left for his vacation. So I feel very proud of the fact that we were one of only 2 bills that actually passed the Senate Commerce Committee last year. And this bill had no opposition. It had no fiscal impact. But all it does is it allows Treasury to do more enforcement in regards to stopping the flow of counterfeit coins and precious metals coming out of anywhere in the world. And it allows them to go after the importers, the distributors, the retailers, and it allows the grading services now have copyright protection. The PCGS, NGC, the 2 biggest certification companies, now have copyright protection, the same protection that Rolex has and watchmakers and other name brands. So I'm excited about it because we're going to start seeing more enforcement, and we can even see civil action. One of these grading services can go out and sue somebody who's importing or distributing or selling counterfeit items. So it puts some teeth in the enforcement, and I'm excited about my part. I'm excited about the fact that we got it through in a Congress that didn't really pass a lot of legislation last year. So I was on cloud 9 for most of January. So what can I tell you?
Hey, well, thank you for doing something to protect us from unscrupulous criminal.
Yeah, this is a crime when you're selling a counterfeit item, and people are spending thousands of dollars for items that might be worth 10 or 15. So a lot of it happens at swap meets and at various shows and on the internet sellers, and a lot of them are selling counterfeit items. One thing your listeners should know, if the most important thing about buying anything, whether it be on the internet or at a trade show or at a swap meet, make sure you know who the seller is. Make sure he's credible, that if he's selling rare coins, that he's a member of the Professional Numismatic Guild, the P&G, because those are the ones that have high ethics, have to adhere to a certain standard, and have to agree to binding arbitration and have the background search done. So most of your major dealers in the country that are credible are members of the Professional Numismatic Guild, and I'm proud to be the current secretary of the guild. I've been a member of the guild now for almost 40 years, so I've been participating in it, and they were very supportive of helping raise funds and help this bill get passed. And I'm proud of the fact that we got the bill done.
I wanted to ask you something. What is going on in Minnesota with registration of gold sold? And it seems like they're cracking down here.
Well, this is a political issue that happened in Minnesota last year, and they put in some they had a number of consumers that were taken advantage of by unscrupulous telemarketers who were selling into Minnesota, delivering bad quality product or not delivering at all. So the legislators decided to be very aggressive. They require licensing. It's a very stringent license. I myself have now decided to not sell to Minnesota because of the licensing and the auditing things that are required. So many of the dealers I know have decided not to. At the same time, ICTA, the Industry Council for Tangible Assets, which is the organization within the coin and precious metal community that takes on issues like this, has hired a law firm in Minnesota. They're trying to get the parts of the law repealed if possible, or at least not enforced. So there is some action being taken against it. The biggest fear is that other states may see something like this and may decide to take it on also. This is not healthy for the community. They've taken the shotgun approach where they should have looked at the dealers that were telemarketers, that were unscrupulous telemarketers, targeted them. Instead of doing that, they targeted everybody. Anybody and everybody who sells into Minnesota has the same licensing requirement, and it's auditing. It's just that there's fees. Everybody has to be. It's just a very ugly situation, and we're working on trying to get it modified so that we can live with it.
It's just insane, and you got to be crazy to buy anything in Minnesota. You'd be buying it over state lines, right?
The biggest people that are having the group that's having the hardest problem with it are numismatists within the state of Minnesota, because they've pretty much been written off by probably 80% of the dealers out there. They won't do business with Minnesota because of their licensing requirements and the auditing and the costs involved to do that. So they're the biggest victims, and I think that they're the ones that are trying to help get the law changed to make it so that they can live with it, and at the same time, obviously, deal with the people that are the fraudsters, the people that are out there trying to cheat them. So it's just hopefully not a harbinger of things to come. Hopefully it's just a one state issue that we'll deal with and take care of. But no, it's something to be concerned about, and I am. I'm out there raising money to be able to pay for the legal fund for ICTA, and I've been able to successfully raise money so that we can get a good law firm and get the thing dealt with.
Yeah, well, those guys in Minnesota, gets cold there in the winter, and they have way too much time on their hands, right?
Apparently, right. Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about the fact that gold's doing so good and silver's doing so good since the beginning of the year. We had a $100 rally in gold in January. We had a $1.87 or a 10% rally in $1.67 or a 10% rally in silver. So the markets are going in the right direction. We're seeing good demand, excellent demand. I mean, the demand is up. Even the ETFs, the GLD, which is the popular ETF, they're up 50 tons of gold. So more people are buying it than selling it. Where last year we saw the opposite. So we're seeing good demand globally. We're seeing good demand domestically. They put out over 5.5 million silver eagles last month in January, which is a nice number to sell. It tells you the physical demand is strong, and the markets are healthy. So I'm happy. What can I tell you? I've got a lot of clients that are happy also.
Yeah, well, you see what's going on with the euro, the Swiss franc, all these pegs to the dollar being broken, and no wonder, right?
Well, they're in the ECB, the European Central Bank, announced last month that they're going to start to do quantitative easing. It's been expected that they were going to do it for at least 6 months to a year, but they finally announced that they're going to be putting out between now and September of 2016. They're going to buy over €1 trillion worth of bonds, which is a way of obviously this is a way that they're going to cheapen the value of their currency. They're going to try to stimulate their economy. This is something that we did in 2010 and 11 and 12 and 13. So now the Europeans decided, well, see, if it worked for us, why not? Let's try it for us. So it's going to cheapen the value of the euro, which it will do. Particularly, the dollar will be a major beneficiary of that. And that's something else to think about. I mean, the fact that the dollar has been so strong against the euro, in face of that, gold still was up $100. And typically, when the dollar gets strong, if you told me we would have a $1.12 euro 6 months ago, I would have said, "Oh my God, gold's going to probably crack $1,000." But no, at the same time that happened, we saw the energy price drop, which again is traditionally a negative thing for precious metals. The euro fall apart and the dollar be strong. These are all very negative things for gold, but in the face of that, gold rallied. And that tells you that the inherent strength and the demand for gold and the belief that gold is your ultimate safe haven investment. So I just love the way gold performed in January in spite of negative news. We still see an 8% increase in the price of gold just in January, which I was impressed with.
In spite of a higher dollar and a higher Swiss franc, it's still going up.
And lower energy prices. I mean, oil dropped, and traditionally, when energy drops, the inflation scenario is set aside, and gold drops. Well, it didn't happen. So I just see that this year could be an extraordinary good year. I'm looking for gold to continue its rally this year and probably break above 1,500. And right now we're sitting a little below 1,300. So it could be a nice year for gold investors.
Yeah, and in spite of what appears to be a deflationary environment, I wouldn't quite go that far. There's still things that are going up in price, but certainly energy down and a lot of other things, prices are down.
Well, the deflationary scenario is primarily in Europe and Asia. That's where we're seeing it. I mean, the last numbers out of Germany showed that they're looking at deflationary scenario. In Asia, particularly in China, you're starting to see some activity there. The Japanese are doing everything they can to stimulate their economy. All that does, if you think about it, it puts out more paper money. That's all it's doing. It's putting out more currency, which will make real assets, tangible assets, gold, silver, collectibles, make them more valuable because the value of the currency is going to be worth less. So it's just a way people can protect themselves against. I mean, when you talk to investor groups and you say, oh my God, the world's going through a deflationary cycle, and we're just working our way out of it in the United States, and they're putting out tremendous amounts of paper money. What do I do? And with the only option you've got, other than interest rates at 1% or 1.25%, is to be into tangible assets. And the most successful one is gold and silver, because you've got good liquidity, good track record, and not big spreads in terms of investment wise. If you go out and buy a Ferrari or buy a Rembrandt painting, it's going to cost you anywhere from 15 to 30% just in commissions. And on bullion, the average commission is 2 or 3%. I mean, between the bid and the ask, it's not very much. So it gives you the good liquidity. It puts you in at a good cost. So you're in at the market levels, and that's why the bullion market and the rare coin market are so active right now.
What about the numismatic coins? We're not talking the heavy duty collectibles that sell for millions, but are.
There's various classifications of numismatic coins. There's investment quality coins that are certified gold and silver coins that trade very actively on a network, and these items are, for the most part, they trade at about $2,000 or $3,000 and above. That market's very solid. That's a good market. The trading at the fund show early last month, which was January 6th through 8th, was very good. And then the show I went to last week, I was in Long Beach at the Long Beach Coin Expo, and the trading there was extremely good in that. And we saw good activity, good price increases. The collector coins, which are the stuff that we're talking $200 or $300 coins, that market still hasn't done much. It's been pretty flat for the last, I'd say, at least since 2008. So it's been flat. But the investment quality certified coins, that's where the activity levels are, and that's where the market appreciation is definitely coming. You're seeing good accumulation and good demand. People building sets, high quality sets of gold, silver dollars, Morgan dollars, peace dollars, walking halves. In the gold, it's the St. Gaudens or the Liberties. Those are very attractive, and a lot of solid demand, a lot of collectors coming into the market. Our January business just here was probably up 30% over last year. Last year was a good year, just in client demand. And my biggest problem is finding the material, filling the holes. I mean, we had literally millions of dollars worth of demand for orders for items when I went to the Long Beach show, and I think I might have picked up 10%, 15% of that. Not much. It's just hard to find the material now. So with bullion, it's no problem. You just contact them in and get all you want. But it talks about coins that are 100 years old that are investment quality. Very hard to find that are good value.
Wow, that's pretty interesting that supply could be that constricted there. I just wasn't really expecting that, because 6 months ago you could pretty much get all you wanted.
Yeah, but now all of a sudden you're starting to see that the prices are starting to turn. 6 months ago, the concern was, would gold break $1,000? That's not where it's at right now. Gold's at the question. Most of the traders I talk to think gold's is a buy on dips, and it should be back above $1,300 very quickly, and on its way to $1,500 by the end of the year. So the psychology, the momentum has changed, and now they're, instead of worrying about gold breaking down, they want to get in, buy high quality, particularly the numismatic coins, because they tend to do better in a healthy gold market.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I can understand that. And, keep hearing that for large purchases, I mean, we're talking big buyers, yep, that's getting real hard to get those big quantities of precious metals. You heard anything about that?
On some of the selected items, yeah, we're having a hard time. It's hard to get platinum, maple leafs, or eagles right now. The mints have pretty much have a hard time getting supplies. Big orders in gold, eagles shouldn't have any problems. Maple leafs, probably no problems. But some of the other stuff from China, some of the popular coins out of Australia, out of Europe, that's getting harder. But at the same time, for example, our biggest selling pre-33 item, which are the ones that provide some protection against reportability and so on, are like the European gold, the Swiss franc, the French roosters, the French angels. Those items are the premium has dropped because the dollar's been so strong against the euro, but it's still hard to get the product. I mean, I have people in Germany, people in France that have traditionally over the last 20, 30 years been supplied, and they would just ship me X amount every month, every 2 weeks, every month. Now I'm having to call them, and even though premiums are cheaper, and which makes it nice for the buyer, it's still hard to find nice quality French francs, French roosters, French angels, British sovereigns, Swiss Helvetias. They're just very difficult to get quantities of them. That's where that because these are coins that were dated prior to 1933, they have a lot of benefits because of that privacy issues, and it's just hard to get them. And we're down to probably about half of what we were getting last year, and it's not fun. We got orders that we can't fill, which from the company point of view isn't nice.
Can't make money if you can't fill the orders.
Yeah.
Hey, report. You working on a report for this year?
Oh yeah. I'm working on a report this year, but a lot of it has to do with the repatriation of gold and silver, and we're getting mixed messages out of it. The Germans, from one report, say that they want their stuff, and back.
No.
Then all of a sudden it happened in Switzerland. I don't know if you saw the import-export numbers out of Switzerland. They were a lot stronger than what we originally participated in. Then the weak euro, a lot of things are just giving you a hard time to make a conclusion. Let's put it that way. I think that the Germans want their gold back, and that's going to put pressure on our Federal Reserve to deliver it. But I mean, they told them 7 years. I mean, wow. I mean, I just. Can you imagine if we make a deal on today, right now, and I tell you, give me 7 years to deliver it? I don't think you'd be very happy.
I don't think you'd stay in business very long, would you?
No, you wouldn't. But you have to have your own government, and you have to. Wow, I mean, I look at that and it just sends a message to me that maybe it's not all there right now.
Yeah. Well, it makes you wonder, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Makes one wonder.
The right side of the scenario is just to be long, and many of the commodity traders. I talk to a lot of professional commodity traders that are in the pits and that are trading silver, gold, precious metals actively, and where last year they were selling on rallies, now they're buying on dips. So they've changed their whole mindset in terms of being wanting to short the market on rallies. They'd rather buy the market anytime it dips down to test the support levels. And right now we've got gold testing supports levels at 1250, the resistance levels at 1300. The market's currently right around the 1265, 1268 right now in that area. So it favors the buy side because it's close to the support level. So I just like the markets in here, and I'm longer gold now than I have been at least in the last 4 or 5 years. I'm just a believer now, and I love the way silver's trading, because when gold's up 2%, silver's up 3%. So, and silver is the same thing. The mint's putting out, 5.5 million ounces of silver eagles. That's just the U.S. mint in January. That's a definite sign that there's demand. So, and as the economy rolls back, and I think the stock market's telling you we're going to have a healthy economy by the time we get to the mid part of this year, the latter part of this year. We're going to have a healthy economy, and if we do, metals will be a lot higher than they are now.
Absolutely. Hey, I don't know if you heard today, but the ECB's cutting off Greece, not allowing them to use their bonds as collateral to borrow money, and threatens yet another disaster, which again could have a salutary effect on gold.
Oh yeah, sure. When you hear things like this, people just run to gold. It's the ultimate safe haven investment. If you're concerned about the value of currency, where else are you going to go? In terms of getting protection as well as having liquidity. That's what precious metals offer. They offer excellent liquidity because you can get in and out quickly, and your spread and your costs are nominal. So yeah, every time you hear any type of problem, when they announced the quantitative easing in the ECB last month, the gold was up $20 that day. So it just tells you. When there's concern about paper money, then there's only one way to go. That's gold and silver. So
yeah, well, it's certainly the commodities sector is definitely looking deflationary. If you were there, you got killed. And the currencies are all very shaky, except the dollar. And I'm sure the dollar will get its day at some point in the future. Hard to believe that they're in the visible future, foreseeable future, they're ever going to be increasing interest rates. Just can't see it. That would be the death knell for the world economy. Just can't be. They might fool you, but I just don't see it. And, it's just, where's the money going to go? You got to have a hedge in precious metals. I just don't see where else it can happen. Do you? Just, there's no other place.
Yeah.
Real estate, I guess, to some extent.
Well, this could be a very, very good year for gold and silver and rare coin buyers. It could be an excellent year in terms of appreciation and in terms of just the general market trend in general. If we see anywhere near the amount of buying that I've seen in January continue through the year, this could be the start of a move back towards setting new highs for gold and silver. And we're looking at 1,900 or in excess of 1,900 on gold and probably in excess of $50 on silver. So it could be a fun year. I'm going to have a lot of happy clients. That's all I care about.
Yeah, well, I hope you have lots of them. And hey, your website and where we contact you, Barry?
Well, what I recommend to your listeners are go to Mint State Gold and access the weekly market report or the daily blog, and I post a daily blog every day about what's happening in the market. On every Monday, we post a weekly market report. And if you want to see what prices are trading at, it's active. The site's an e-commerce site, and it picks up with whenever gold goes up, and it gives you the actual spot prices of gold, silver, platinum, palladium. And then there's all types of news reports we put on there, on the news articles, which are interesting articles that I find from around the world that pertain to precious metals and coins.
Yeah, it's great, and we've always got the links in the show notes on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Make sure you sign up for a free newsletter and take a look at the site. I mean, we've got all these articles on there. So much activity, so much that's just omitted from the mainstream media, I should say, ignored by them because they just don't want you to know what's really happening. And it's all going on right now. So you better take a look at it and figure it out. Anyway, Barry, thanks so much for coming on. As always a pleasure. And stay busy, okay?
Take care now.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.